Welcome to Samarkand, one of the jewels of Uzbekistan and a city that was located on the historic Silk Road. So come along as we discover some of the treasures that Samarkand has got to offer. Samarkand is today the third largest city in Uzbekistan, and it is one of the oldest continuously inhabited towns in all of Central Asia. The history goes back many millennia, and it was part of the Persian Empire and later conquered by Alexander the Great. For many centuries, Samarkand was an essential trading center on the Silk Road thanks to its strategic location between China, Persia, and Europe. In the 14th century, an Uzbek ruler named Temur conquered vast stretches of Central Asia, Mesopotamia, and the Middle East, and he transformed Samarkand into his imperial capital. As such, a lot of the jaw-dropping architecture that you see in Samarkand today dates from the Timurid period. The city became filthy rich thanks to Silk Road trade, and the monuments that were constructed during this period reflect this immense wealth. The first location that we're going to cover is the stunning Bibikhanum Mosque, which was finished in 1404. Named after Timur's wife Sarai Mulk Khanum, it was intended to become the largest mosque in Samarkand. The scale of the building was unlike anything ever seen in the region, and the engineers struggled to put Timur's vision into action. Unfortunately, the emperor was also quite impatient, and allegedly the builders didn't have enough time to secure the building's structural integrity. And that may have been the reason why the walls and cupolas significantly deteriorated over time due to harsh weather and earthquakes. In this context, most of the building collapsed in the late 19th century, and it lay in ruins for many decades. Since the late Soviet period, however, restoration has been ongoing, and today this incredible monument has regained some of its former glory. We are now arriving at Samarkand's most iconic square, the Registan. This was the main square during the Timurid Empire, and it was where official ceremonies and also public executions were held. Today you can see 3 madrasas or Islamic schools here. The oldest is the Ulugh Madrasa, which was built between 1417 and 1420. Ulugh was Timur's grandson and the governor of Samarkand. But not just that, he was also a highly prominent astronomer. Ulugh Madrasa is the only surviving building from the Timurid Registan, as the 2 other madrasas, Tiliakori and Sher-dor, were built in the 17th century, around 200 years later. And I think this goes without saying, all 3 buildings are mind-blowing. The walls are adorned by geri tiles, and the entire complex is brimming with ornate decorations. Today, Registan is a museum, meaning that the mosques and madrasas are no longer active, but the historical significance is still very tangible. There are plenty of little galleries, courtyards, and exhibitions, and I spent almost 3 hours here. Absolutely unmissable. It was then time for lunch, and I went to a small local restaurant where they had a wide range of Uzbek specialties. I opted for some Lagman, which is a noodle soup with vegetables and beef. This dish is often described as being Uyghur, but you can find it all over Central Asia. Needless to say, it was very flavorful and cost less than $3. I then went for a walk around central Samarkand, and I have to say that the old town has been beautifully polished and renovated. You can see that they want to showcase the historic beauty in a clean and pedestrian-friendly environment. Apart from the main sites, you have a lovely park here with various statues, including one of Islam Karimov, the first president of independent Uzbekistan, who was in power between 1991 and his death in 2016. Central Samarkand is also home to the Mausoleum of Temur, which was completed in 1404, 1 year before his passing. I stayed at the Bibikhanum Hotel, which is located right next to the eponymous mosque. It's a charming historic building that was meticulously renovated. I paid $75 for a double room, but I got upgraded to a family room, so I had 5 beds to myself, which isn't too shabby. Better still, the rate included a sumptuous breakfast buffet with amazing views. So yeah, not the cheapest place to stay in Samarkand, but definitely worth it thanks to the architecture and quality. After a long day of exploring, I got a beer at Sam's Pub, which is one of a handful of bars in central Samarkand. Uzbekistan is a Muslim country and you can't get alcohol everywhere, but it is widely available in tourist areas and larger cities. It is also super cheap compared to other Muslim countries. After the sun went down, I returned to Registan Square, where they have some pretty epic light shows. As you can see, this is the main gathering spot for locals and tourists alike. To conclude my first day in the incredible city of Samarkand, I went to a local barbecue place where I got some lamb and chicken skewers with onions. Simple but succulent. I began my second day at the Siyob Bazaar, which is the main market in the old town. You can find all the usual stuff here, like nuts, spices, and handicrafts. As for myself, I purchased some delicious fresh orange juice to get the engine running. After that, it was time to see some more historic sites, the first one being Karimov's Mausoleum. As I already mentioned, he was the first president of independent Uzbekistan, and his mausoleum is located next to the 19th century Hazrat Kizar Mosque. I then continued toward Shah-i-Zinda, which is a highly ornate necropolis consisting of various tombs that were built over many centuries. The oldest mausoleums date from the 11th century, but many were built much later. The necropolis was constructed over different levels and the details are gorgeous, hence why it is also a highly popular Instagram location. On my last evening in Samarkand, I got some dinner at a fancier place called Emirhan. They have a rooftop terrace with stunning views over Registan, and I went for some lamb with puree. The food was a bit more expensive than usual, but great quality, and of course the view. And that is it from Samarkand. Undoubtedly one of the must-visit locations in Uzbekistan. Very few cities in Central Asia have this much historic wealth, and the center has been nicely polished. There is a small airport here, but you can also take a slow train, a fast train, or a bus from Tashkent. Thanks for watching.